News. I'm Captain Mal.
I'm T Crawler.
I'm Weapon 2, brother.
And today we're going to give you our official review for the Amazon Prime original series, The Boys. So The Boys is an adaptation of the graphic novel of the same name, brought to you by Dynamite Comics. Is that who it is?
That's Dynamite Comics,
Dynamite
yes.
Comics. All right, so The Boys just dropped, not that long ago. It's 8 episodes long. Weapon 2, why don't you give us a plot synopsis? Let us know, what is this about? Also, spoiler free until we let you know.
Spoiler free.
For a minute. Yeah.
So the TV show kind of changed the storyline from the comic book a little bit. So in the comic book, it's like the boys have powers from the Compound V. I don't know if that's a spoiler yet, but anyway, so they have powers where they can fight the superheroes. In this, it seems like they just kind of outsmart them and take advantage of opportunities to interfere with what's going on and take care of them. But basically, it's about the superheroes. They're politicians, celebrities. They can do almost no wrong. They make television shows about them, and they have all the money, the wealth. A huge corporation behind them that puts superheroes in every city in the nation, and it's a big money-making thing. But they're up to no good. Because they have all this power, they do anything they want, and they need the boys to come in and get some revenge and take care of business and keep them in line.
Yeah, so basically, think about it, it's a superhero universe all of Marvel, but mostly kind of DC, and they have their Justice League that they call the Seven, right? And there's clearly a Superman character, a Batman character, a Wonder Woman character, all that. But think of these superheroes that, like he said, they're essentially celebrities, and they're ran by a corporation, and they control everything the way you would, like a corporation would a pop star. Their appearances, what they say, the merchandising, the movies, the TV, it's all social media, it's all about money. And the superheroes themselves, you've heard the term absolute power corrupts absolutely, they're a bunch of right cunts. Like, they are just dicks. They do not give a shit about humans and about saving them or anything. It's all a facade. It's all bullshit. And the boys are a group of guys, for various reasons we'll get into later, that basically are the ones standing up to them, are the ones that are kind of taking them out, or the ones trying to bring down the corporation, kind of expose them, all that kind of shit. Now, it's a very, very good graphic novel that myself and Weapon 2 have read, and you're right, there are a lot of changes that we'll kind of get into in the spoiler section. But T Crawler, our boy right here, has not read this series. And I specifically instructed him to not read it, because I wanted him to come in cold, right? So, overall thoughts, coming in cold, not really knowing anything about it, what did you think?
I thought the story for this synopsis, like you already explained, was awesome. I'm watching this and I'm like, my God, like right away after, watching it and seeing the stuff that you guys have already told me from the graphic novel on the screen, I'm like, holy crap, I don't know how much of this is exactly from the graphic novel or much, but I gotta read this. Like right away I wanted to read it. And there's not very many things that I've watched that were made into movies or shows that I wanted to read more than like watch it.
I wanted to go see the source material.
Yeah, I really wanted to see the source material. So that's something I still want to do. So
how fast did you watch this? You binged this. His previous record was Stranger Things. He watched Stranger Things so fast. By the way, check out our Stranger Things Season 3 review online now. But he watched it so fast. How fast did you watch this?
I finished it in 2 days.
Like sooner than that, I felt. I felt like I got a text message that said I'm on episode 5, and then the next day it was like I'm done.
The first day he was on episode 5.
Yeah, I was like, I hadn't even watched it yet.
I was camping. I was in the woods. I was like, oh no, they're getting ahead of me.
And it brought me joy to finish something before these guys.
Yeah, like I
had
finished
5 episodes in the first day, and then I finished the next 3 the next day. So most of it was done in 1 day. So that's how much I enjoyed this. And then it struck me like a lot of things with this whole binging concept. Like, now I'm like, God, I gotta wait forever for season 2. So I love this. So I can't wait to start getting into spoilers.
So still keeping it spoiler free. Overall, let's see. I want to name some things. See if you agree with me, Weapon 2. Tonally, perfect.
Yep.
I watched the first episode and I was like, this is perfect. There changes some stuff, but it completely captured the tone, it completely captured the characters, it completely captured the stakes and what is going on.
And the changes, I think, are for the story.
No, the changes work because I've never seen an adaptation, go from book, comic book, whatever, to television, movie, whatever, that the changes they made were all for the better. Because this lends itself better to this format, right? It lends itself for this type of storytelling that you have on a television or even a movie, because it has to be different, right?
Right.
And normally, sometimes you feel like an adaptation is changing shit just to change shit. No, everything they changed made sense, and we'll get into that later. But yeah, so the feeling, the tone, it was perfect, right?
Yeah, and even the things they change, you can see they did it for a reason.
Yes.
There was a reason that they did it. It was a reason. It was changed for a reason, and it was purposeful, and it was
sense.
good for the good
Yes.
television
Yes.
storytelling.
So, like, again, if you don't know much about this thing, so it's kind of a deconstruction of the superhero genre, a la Watchmen. It is dark, it is intense. There are some legitimate holy shit moments. There are some moments where your jaw's on the floor. There are going to be moments where you're laughing hysterically. There are going to be some moments where you're like, holy shit, that was dark. It is very much all of those things. There's action. There's awesome character moments. There's the whole emotional gamut, the whole roller coaster you will go on. I feel like this is one of the best series of the year. This is one of the best adaptations I've ever seen. This is something I would 100% recommend to even non-comic book fans.
Oh, yeah,
I think they can get into it.
Well, and I think that the thing that makes this so attractive is that we all know that the world's not perfect, right?
Yes.
So there's not politicians aren't perfect. There's corruption in politics and police and law enforcement and all levels of everything. There's always some type of an element that's not right. And then sometimes we'll watch a movie where it looks like they'll probably they'll step it up a little bit to where, oh yeah, there's a lot of corruption and stuff. This just tells the story from that point of view where you know, we all know that probably most people involved in politics are some scumbags. And they're up to no good. There's a lot of cover-ups. There's things they do that people will never find out, that are all behind the scenes doing bad things to people for self-serving reasons.
Right.
And this just shows that on a superhero
And even
level.
to build on that, like a lot of people love like pop stars and this and that. Like, oh, they're so sweet, they're so great. I'm like, no, they're not. They are an egotistical fucking maniac. They are a self-centered narcissistic asshole, and they're reading from a script. They are what their brand, what their their management team, what their record label tells them to be. That is not the person they are. And you see that in the show. These superheroes, they're posing for the fucking pictures, they're doing the commercials and all of this. And then as soon as the camera stopped rolling, fuck you, fuck this, you're a cunt,
You
you're just like,
motherfuckers.
yeah.
So this plays into a lot of the superhero tropes of like shows, movies, things like that, comic books. But at the same time, they bring in some factual things. Like if superheroes were real, this is what would really happen in that situation.
Right.
So that's why.
Well,
that's
I know it's time. We'll talk about it.
So, yeah.
So,
I know.
so I think overall, we highly recommend this.
Yep.
We think it's awesome. If you have delicate sensibilities, don't watch it because it's really fucked up.
It is a complete R-rated program.
Hard R.
Okay, and so, I mean, just
Language, sexual, all that kind of stuff.
it's not for kids,
No.
unless your kids are ones you take to an R-rated.
But this is how good the show is. I love Carl Urban.
Yeah.
He's great and everything.
I love
He's
him
great.
as Butcher.
He's great. He's the perfect
Yeah.
butcher. One of the big selling points for me for this show was that Carl Urban was cast as Butcher.
Yeah.
But this show was so good. In the first 10 minutes, I was so invested. Immediately, I forgot Carl Urban was in it. And then when he first shows up on screen as Butcher, I was literally like, oh yeah, fuck, Carl Urban's in this.
Yeah.
This just got better, and it was already great.
And there are so many good characters and so many good actors.
Nobody's bad in this.
Yeah.
Everybody is good.
Homelander, the guy that plays
Superman.
him is hysterical.
Such a
That
prick.
guy is something else. man.
Everybody is great. The chick who plays Starlight, everyone's great.
Yes.
So I think we should wrap up the spoiler-free section because we want to get deep. Watch the show. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. Okay? Now, spoiler alerts. You guys go. Just throw it out there. Plot shit. What was different from the book? What did you like the changes that happened? We're assuming you know what we're talking about now.
So here, there's a lot of one of the change. This is the only change that really bothered me.
Okay.
It was I really liked Frenchie when in the first scene where he like in what is it, a restaurant or a diner or something like that when he just I can't remember what somebody did to him, but he like killed a whole bunch of people.
He went the fuck up.
He tore people to pieces, and for me in the story, that made it feel like he could relate better to the female because she's like that as a character too. So they took that part away,
Right.
and I think I really liked that part of the character in the comics. The other things that are changed, like, you know, of course, the famous scene of when Starlight's coming to the seven.
I told that to him. That was totally different.
In the comic book,
That's
there's
worse.
a scene where Homelander, I think, is the
It was
first
Homelander,
one.
yeah, it was Homelander.
drops his pants and tells her to suck his dick, and then so the other superheroes
So
come in, and
she's like, oh my god, no,
She's like,
I can't. She
yeah.
turns to run away. The elevator opens and Black Noir and I think it was the Deep come out.
Yeah, and they're there. She's like, she thinks they're gonna save him.
Yeah,
She's
and
like,
they're just like-
oh, look over here. And they're like, yeah.
She does.
So
Cocky.
they changed that where it's only the Deep, and it kind of paints him instead of this is an environment where this happens.
He was the
It
prick.
was like he was the bad guy. I think that opened up the storyline to make her, instead of like this completely victimized person, gave her a way of becoming like a kind of like a powerful person at
Right.
the other end of it, which I think for their story was
worked.
good for that.
Right.
And so, I mean, what are some of the other things?
So a
that
couple
changed? I can't remember.
changes that I noticed that were kind of character driven. And we'll get on the things you want to say. Sorry, we just want to go to something real quick. Maeve was different. Queen Maeve.
Yeah.
She was way more of a bitch in the comic.
Yeah.
There's the scene where after like the blowjob thing happens. Maeve is a total bitch to her in the comic, and she's kind of a little bit supportive in the show. She's like, don't let them see you like this. And then later there's a conversation that happens where Maeve in the show is like, do you want to talk? And Starlight's like, no, just make me one of those. It's totally different in the comic. In the comic, like, Starlight's trying to talk to her, and she's like, I'm not here to fucking be your friend, whatever. And she's like, well, just make me one. Like, she's a lot more of a bitch. They really make it seem like she's hardened because of the environment she's in, but deep down she cares. Which, again, for this narrative, works. And I see that they're going to go somewhere with it, but she's different in the comic. In the comic, also, I felt like Homelander, the Superman character, is way more Injustice Superman than he is in this, the show. He is way more of a menacing, scary, terrifying, what the fuck did you say? Oh my god, we're all gonna cower to you. And you see hints of that, you see a couple moments where he does it, but you can tell he's still being controlled. He's still under the influence of the chick, I forget her name.
Right.
And you can see he's making the strides toward becoming that guy.
Right.
He's just not quite there yet. But that is definitely something that's different, right? He's not as much an evil asshole.
And he's still a little afraid of the corporation as a
Right.
whole, and doesn't have, he still doesn't want to get fired.
Right. But in the comic, he's like, I fucking run this.
Right.
And you could tell he's doing it, right? Another difference, Huey and Starlight's relationship is a little bit different from the beginning. So first of all, I want to point out, Simon Pegg, they use his likeness in the book for Huey. They actually got his approval to do this. He writes an intro to the book, and he's on board, right? So I really wanted Huey to be, or Simon Pegg to be Huey, but I knew they wouldn't do
And
that.
he's Scottish in the book.
Right. So there's changes.
Yeah.
But
I
they
don't like the Scottish accent though.
they cast Simon Pegg as Huey's dad, which
Yeah,
I
that
fucking
was
loved.
good.
That was straight up fan service. That was great. But the guy who plays Huey's great. The chick who plays Starlight is great. But their relationship's a little bit different with how willing he is to manipulate her in the beginning, with Butcher and all of them knowing that he knows her right away. Like that was like their relationship kind of had time to flourish on its own before Butcher and all of them found out. But Carl Urban as Butcher, fucking tastic.
Yeah.
He is brilliant. He steals every single scene he's in. He is totally amazing. But I'm just gonna gush for a little bit. So what stood out to you? What did you like, spoiler wise? What were big moments to you? Want to talk about the airplane thing, which happened different in the book also.
So the whole factual things that they added to this, like I was saying earlier, is they have this plane that's they want the Seven to be involved in the military. So the perfect opportunity, terrorists take over the plane that's over international waters. So Homelander takes Queen Maeve and they go to the plane and they take out the terrorists. But she goes to the cockpit and opens up the cockpit door and there's a terrorist in there with the pilot. Right, so they're trying to calm him down, but as I think they hit turbulence, he shoots the pilot in the head, the pilot goes down, but at the same time Homelander's IBs, he already had a plane, he was going to take the guy's head off. It hits the control panel, right? So now the plane's just, it's screwed, it's crashing, right? So she's like, you got to do something. He's like, what the hell are we supposed to do? She's like, fly out and lift the plane. He's like, with what underneath?
There's no
just
fucking
air.
ground.
And she's like, well, just fly,
But we all
from
know-
distance and come up and lift the plane. He's like, well, if I do that, I'll just go through the hole. Now, we've seen Superman do the same thing, and it's like, it seems like the plane lands softly in his hands, and he's lifting it. this is what I like because it's basically physics. Like, you know, if he's going at a certain speed and the plane's coming down at a certain speed, he's gonna go through that damn thing. Especially
Superhero physics. He's just got to match. He's got to match the speed.
That's one of the things.
It's the same argument.
He's
like
just
Superman.
guiding it. He's guiding it.
Right.
It's Superman catching Lois Lane. He would chop her in half.
So that's what I loved about that. And then of course eventually he's like, we're gonna die. And so he goes to the back of the plane. They're like, save us. He still takes his side like, no, citizen, we're gonna save you. And he kneels down, talks to kids like, we're gonna save you. Hi, blah blah. And then he goes to the back of the plane. Then he gets to the point where he gets pissed off. He's like, step back. And he has his eyes all red. And he's about to shoot these
That was
beams.
better in the book, though.
You know why he's a cop out? Because if he was a real superhero, he would have tried.
He's not a real superhero.
Well, no, I'm just saying. He would have gave the effort. He wouldn't have just said,
But so-
not gonna work.
So this
He
is
would have
why.
really tried. If he punched a hole in it, there aren't any worse off, are they?
Eventually, so
They all died.
Yeah, I know. He basically tells her, no, don't die with these people, and they're floating in the air, and they watch the plane crash. Now, the debris eventually floats on shore to New York or whatever. where
Yeah,
they're
it
at.
doesn't matter.
And he gives a speech about a terrorist attack and how they attacked us, and
We got there 3 minutes late.
yeah, he totally turned it around because nobody survived. Nobody can tell the truth about what really happened.
He let them die on purpose.
Yeah.
If only we were in the chain of command, we could have been here.
That-
He would start shedding a tear.
And that's when you realize you're like, holy shit, that motherfucker did it on
And
purpose.
the other thing I like is in the beginning, and you guys, this is the first thing that I remember. You were telling me about the whole A-Train scene where he runs and goes through Huey's
That was perfect.
girlfriend, right?
That was fucking perfect.
I like that because
Yeah.
I watch like Flash and we read comics. I like Flash. So Flash goes against a lot of speedsters, Reverse Flash, everything. They're going through the city, and you're gonna tell me they never run into anybody? Everybody just clears away because there's speedsters on the street. No, I don't think so. I'm sure there's people that they go through and they don't even think twice about it because they're just trying to, stop each other. And this really showed what would happen.
Especially when they're hopped up on Compound B.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's the thing from the comics.
So
is
it's just the realism that they put. If this were to actually, if superheroes were around,
there would be
they'd
collateral
have this
damage.
power, yeah.
That was the premise of the comic more so, was the collateral damage
Right,
that
right.
happens to them. And in the comic, the boys take Compound V to get superpowered
Right.
temporarily to fight them.
Fight them,
Yeah. So I'm curious, like, they're not going to include everything from the comic. It's just season 1. So I'm curious as to see where this is going to go, what elements from the later books it's going to include. But where it ended, so that ended, holy fuck.
Oh, man.
Holy fuck. Dude, so one of the holy shit moments
John
in
was
the
on the
series,
floor,
as you guys might know, is, you find out that Butcher's wife was raped by Homelander, and she died because she was impregnated by him, and the baby, kicked its way out of her stomach, essentially.
But wait,
So they kind of go there in the show, and I'm like, I don't think they're really going to go there, because that's really fucking dark. And then they go there, and like, oh shit, and then the climax happens, which, by the way, back to our Brightburn review, which you can check out on this channel, when we're talking about him, laser eyeing the fucking dad, how that wouldn't take that long. Yeah, Homelander laser eyes his mom, and it's instant head
he just
kill.
wanted Brightburn shit that we
Yeah,
thought we
and
were
we're
gonna
just like,
see.
oh, that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Butcher tries to blow him up, and then he super speeds him, saves him, and then he wakes up on the lawn, and he's like, where the fuck am I? He's like, oh, hey, I want to show you something, Homelander says to Butcher. And then this fucking kid comes out, an 8-year-old kid, and Butcher's wife. And fucking Homelander, kid, is still alive, and he's a little superpowered fuck. And then Butcher's wife sees Butcher on the ground, and she's like, what the fuck? And Butcher's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what the fuck?
And
I was
Homelander's telling this kid, he said, hey, do you know who I am? Yeah, you're Homelander. Oh, she didn't tell you. I'm your father. It's like, oh.
My jaw was on the floor. What did you think? That was a shock, right?
I love
This is the end of the season.
I
I'm like,
love
oh my god,
That's
I
what
finished
it
it,
is.
now I have to wait till season 2. I don't.
See, that just adds to the dysfunction. Just the dysfunction of this whole thing and the fucking what the hell is going on? What's gonna happen
Now
next?
you could tell Seth Rogen, I think it's Evan Greenberg, Goldberg, whatever, the showrunners, the writers, they love this. The same way they love Preacher, and you could tell that it's made by fans.
Yeah.
So, I feel like we can keep gushing for a long time.
Well, I want to say one more thing
Okay,
before
closing thoughts, yes.
The other thing I love, and this is one of my absolute favorite things, it's how Homelander talks up the crowds.
Yeah.
He'll be hooking up to the crowd. Oh, come on! Clap for yourselves! You're the real hero! You're the real hero! Oh, I'm just here trying to help out. He's a complete
And he turns
politician.
around, and
And then he'll walk through, and as soon as he gets out of the crowd, he's like, fuck this.
Who put a blanket here, motherfucker? Yeah, it's okay. Closing thoughts.
This is a great movie. Watch it.
Yeah.
This is the best thing on
We
earth.
should, on the next podcast, we should elaborate a bit, because I feel like
I
we
think
could talk
we-
about this for a while.
yeah,
But we're trying to keep
yeah.
it short and sweet, so
Yeah.
T. Carl,
I just-
closing thoughts. Anything else you want to mention? Something stood out to you?
The thing with the fact that the Deep, who's like Aquaman, is still a joke of the group. Like, you know, Aquaman was kind of like a joke to the Justice League and
Him
the Deep and to the Seven.
Getting the gills finger banged by the
Yeah,
chick
when
was
that
one of
girl-
the funniest, most
Because
uncomfortable
he's like a
things I've
sepsis,
seen.
and he like basically put his dick
But
in
it was
Starlight's face and all
Still
this.
uncomfortable.
So he had to do this whole apology publicly, but some girl like tricked him into thinking that she was really into him, and she freaking like
He has gills, and she.
she called her a freak and all kinds of stuff, made him feel uncomfortable,
Yes,
and he
fuck.
said no, and she's like, oh, you're gonna want this,
Yeah.
lay down, and she figured his gills.
Yeah,
So
it was
like,
uncomfortable.
How do you like it?
it was
He's like, no, he's like, I said no, it hurts. She's like, it's just my pinky.
Oh, it was so weird. But anyway, love this show. I can't wait for season 2, and I can't wait. I gotta read this. I gotta
Yeah,
read this.
you do gotta read. There's a lot of things I wanted to say, a lot of moments I want to bring up, but I don't want this review to be an hour long. We'll touch more on this on the podcast, I think, the next
Yeah.
episode. Everything we said holds true. It is great. It is funny. It is dark. It is fucked up. It is perfect. As a fan of the comic, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Somebody come in and new. It was like the
Yeah.
new thing.
Yes.
Yeah!
Amazon Prime original series, The Boys. Check it out.
Yeah! Yeah!
As always, thank you for joining us on this episode of the world's greatest news and reviews. If you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe.
Peace!